Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. The Digital Shadows, How the Internet Became the Eye of Big Brother. Welcome, fellow listeners, to a deep dive into a world often unseen, a world of invisible connections that subtly shape our reality. Today, we're tackling a topic that might sound like something out of a dystopian novel, but is, in fact, a stark and chilling truth. How the Internet, initially conceived as a boundless tool for human connection, transformed into a formidable instrument of surveillance. This is the story of how our freedom in the digital realm is steadily diminishing, and how privacy is becoming an increasingly rare commodity. We'll explore the intricate workings of the American surveillance state and, more importantly, what its pervasive reach means for each and every one of us. Prepare to have your perceptions challenged. Unseen alliances, the NSA and the tech titans. Have you ever paused to consider that the tech giants whose products you interact with daily, Google, Facebook, Skype, might be working hand in hand with intelligence agencies? It sounds like the stuff of conspiracy theories, doesn't it? Yet, the groundbreaking documents unveiled by Edward Snowden unequivocally demonstrated that the National Security Agency NSA harbored deep, often clandestine, ties with some of the world's largest corporations. It's astonishing to learn that the NSA reportedly engaged in strategic partnerships with as many as 80 major global corporations. And here's where it gets even more unsettling. Some of these companies allegedly received millions of dollars in exchange for providing the NSA with access to our most private data. This wasn't always a straightforward transaction. Sometimes it was a carrot-and-stick approach, involving veiled threats of losing lucrative government contracts or even the specter of imprisonment. Corporations, keen to protect their public image, frequently claimed they were compelled to hand over data due to court orders. But was this merely a convenient shield, or a genuine constraint? The lines, it seems, were intentionally blurred. The data deluge. What Google and Facebook know about you. So, what exactly was of such keen interest to the NSA? In short, everything: emails, voice and video chats, personal photos, saved documents, any and all digitized information. Take a moment to reflect on the sheer volume of information you share online every single day. The statistics are truly staggering. The amount of data willingly provided by companies like Google, Facebook, and Skype to the NSA saw an astronomical increase over the years. But the data collection isn't solely confined to government agencies. The corporations themselves, particularly behemoths like Google, have meticulously constructed vast surveillance systems. Consider Google Street View, the persistent tracking of your online purchasing habits, or the sophisticated analysis of your emails for targeted advertising. These very same meticulously collected datasets can, and often are, utilized by state officials for surveillance purposes. Furthermore, the privacy agreements we so casually accept without a second glance are riddled with loopholes, legally enabling the extensive use of our personal data. Do we genuinely comprehend the full scope of what we're consenting to when we click agree? The courageous few, whistleblowers, and the price of truth. In the looming shadow of this pervasive surveillance state, there have always been individuals who chose to stand up and expose the truth. Thomas Drake, and most notably, Edward Snowden, have become iconic figures in the global struggle for privacy. Their audacious actions, though branded as insider threats by the government, were absolutely instrumental in revealing official deception and igniting a crucial public discourse about the permissible boundaries of surveillance. Snowden, despite facing immense personal consequences, risked everything to ensure that we, the public, could grasp the true scale of this ubiquitous intrusion. His remarkable story underscores the formidable challenge of confronting a system that strives for total control and simultaneously highlights the indispensable role of investigative journalism and unwavering civic resistance in a democratic society. Their sacrifices laid bare uncomfortable truths, forcing us to confront the reality of our digital lives. What lies ahead? The future of privacy in a digital world. The revelations about the scale of surveillance brought about significant shifts. Foreign companies, naturally wary, NY became much more cautious about collaborating with American tech giants, fearing for the security and integrity of their own data. But was this enough to truly halt the machinery of surveillance? Today, we find ourselves at a critical crossroads. Do we passively accept a future where privacy an illusion, or do we actively fight for our fundamental rights? There's growing discussion about the creation of a new, surveillance-free internet, built upon cutting-edge principles like quantum cryptography. However, such advancements are still largely aspirational, a distant melody in the symphony of technological progress. So, what tangible steps can we take now? As informed and responsible internet users, we can actively support independent investigative journalism, prioritize the use of encrypted communication tools, and demand greater transparency and accountability from both governments and corporations. Remember, true freedom isn't merely the absence of restrictions. It's also a state of conscious awareness and proactive engagement. Our collective vigilance is our strongest defense. Echoes of the past, from spies to smartphones. To truly understand our present, we must look to the past. The concept of surveillance didn't begin with the internet. For decades, intelligence agencies operated in the shadows, focusing on traditional espionage and foreign threats. But the landscape of surveillance underwent a radical transformation after a pivotal moment in history. The attacks of 9/11 provided the perfect catalyst for a massive expansion of domestic surveillance under the guise of national security. Laws like the Patriot Act dramatically broadened the government's powers, allowing for unprecedented access to our data without traditional warrants. What started as targeted intelligence gathering evolved into a sprawling, indiscriminate dragnet, collecting information on millions of ordinary citizens. The logic was simple. In the digital age, a single phone call or email could be a threat. This historical shift laid the groundwork for the programs that Snowden would later expose. This wasn't a sudden change, it was a gradual, deliberate erosion of privacy, justified by a constant state of fear. The legal labyrinth, loopholes and lost protections. So, with all this surveillance, where were the legal checks and balances? Why didn't our constitutional protections prevent this? The reality is, the legal system has struggled to keep pace with rapid technological advancements. For years, government agencies exploited legal loopholes, arguing that a third-party doctrine meant that if we voluntarily shared our data with a company, be it an email provider or a social media platform, we surrendered our expectation of privacy. This created a legal gray area that allowed for mass data collection without a warrant. Furthermore, programs like Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act (FISA), while designed to target foreign threats, were used to justify the collection of data on American citizens. The courts, often operating in secrecy, either approved these programs or were simply unaware of their full scope. The legal system, a cornerstone of our freedom, became a complex and often powerless labyrinth, unable to contain the ambitions of the surveillance state. It's a sobering reminder that our rights are only as strong as our ability to enforce them in the face of new technology. The psychological cost, living in the age of surveillance. The consequences of living in a surveillance society go far beyond just data points and legal documents. They reach into our minds, affecting our behavior and the very fabric of our society. When we know we might be watched, even if we have nothing to hide, we start to self-censor. We might be less likely to voice a controversial opinion online or participate in a protest, fearing that our actions could be flagged and stored. This is the chilling effect of surveillance, and it is a direct threat to freedom of speech and expression. It also erodes trust in our government, in the corporations we rely on, and even in our peers. When every digital interaction can be monitored, the foundation of open and honest communication is weakened. This atmosphere of distrust can lead to a more isolated, fearful society. The surveillance state isn't just a physical or digital construct. It's a powerful psychological force that subtly reshapes how we think, how we act, and how we interact with the world around us. It is the silent toll on our collective psyche. Conclusion: the choice is ours. We've journeyed through the tangled web of the surveillance state, from the covert alliances between agencies and corporations to the legal loopholes that allowed it to flourish. We've explored the brave actions of whistleblowers and the chilling historical context that enabled the shift from targeted intelligence to mass surveillance. Most importantly, we've touched on the unseen psychological cost of living in a world where we're always under the microscope. The surveillance state isn't a distant, abstract concept. It's woven into the very fabric of our daily lives, influencing what we say, what we do, and who we trust. It has fundamentally reshaped our relationship with technology and with each other. But here's the crucial takeaway. The battle for privacy is far from over. Now, the choice is ours. Do we accept this new normal, or do we demand a future where our digital footprint is not a public record? We can start by becoming more aware of our data, supporting companies that prioritize privacy, and engaging in this vital conversation. The future of a free and open internet depends on it. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights into finance and economics. Let's protect our financial future together. See you in the next video.